The Seder, that means after the Seder, that's like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, the Rebbe used to come downstairs and for break, till let's say 6 in the morning, a few hours. And like it says in the Haggadah, the whole night they were sitting and talking about, right? Matzah Rabbi Loza, they sat a whole night till they told them, hey, it's time to read Shema. So the Rebbe used to taught a little Chassidut. So he explains here the different, what's Pesach and Matzah. Amen. So let's learn a little, then we'll sing 2 Nigunim and we'll say L'chaim. Lahavin inyan Pesach and Matzah. To understand what is the idea of eating Matzah and the Korban Pesach. In Yadua, Mashekosa Kisri Arizal, the Arizal writes, in Shar HaKavanos of Pesach, Shebelel HaPesach, on the night of, wow, so much chametz to finish, right? On the night of Pesach, Nimshochem Moiches de Katnos. On the night of Pesach, Hashem gives you new moichen. Moichen means intelligence. He puts in your mind new seichel. Gadlus Rishon, Gadlus Sheni. The main thing, and that's why it says by the Manashtana, if you look in everyone's Haggadah, it says like this: Kan haben shoel. Right before the Manashtana, it says here, the son asks. So you could say, well, okay, the guy just wrote in the Haggadah, here's when the son should ask the question. But according to the Arizal, he says no. Kan. When you get to this part of the Haggadah Haben, you start to understand and you can ask questions already, because Hashem gives you so much understanding on the night of Pesach that you can start asking. Because before you eat the matzah and the seder, your mind is very narrow and very shallow. But by celebrating the seder and eating the matzah, all of a sudden your mind opens up. Why? Kivin sheboinim shacham meichem. When you eat the matzah, you get new intelligence that comes into your brain, into your mind, and therefore now you can ask questions. This that Hashem gives you on the night of Pesach is not the normal way, like, okay, step 1 causes step 2. No. When it comes Pesach, it goes straight. You get the highest level right away. Now, what does it mean in a practical sense? It sounds very mystical. This is very practical. I'm holding on the bottom of the page. Shegos Mitzrayim who ate Matzah Hagorim. The neck right over here. According to Chassidus and Kabbalah, the neck is called Mitzrayim. This, the neck. It's called Matzah Hagoron. Metzer means narrow. Goron, the neck. Because the neck, look at your head, is wider than your neck. So in Kabbalah, Arizal writes that's from your intellect to get to your emotion, which is from the brain to your heart. It has to go through this narrow path, which is called the neck.
The whole 360 degree.
Yeah, everything has to go through it. And what's funny, he says, this is where everything gets reduced, sometimes to such a minute that by the time it gets to your heart, you don't get inspired. So sometimes you can understand, wow, he spoke so nice, but it doesn't talk to your heart. That's galut. Galut means that the brain cannot connect to the heart. That's the exile. That's your neck is narrowing the path that the intellect doesn't affect the emotion. That's Mitzrayim. Interesting. And therefore, look what he says. This is Sha'agorain. Your neck separates between your brain and your heart. That whatever you understand in your mind shouldn't go to your heart. The famous thing with the guy who went to the doctor, remember? The doctor was telling him not to smoke, not to smoke, not to smoke. And then he goes out and he orders a cigar with a Coke, with a pizza. What happened? He understood it right here. But the narrowness of the neck doesn't let it go into the heart, so it doesn't feel it. If you don't feel it, it's like you understand, it has nothing to do with me. So then he says, if you would have had the proper way, that the moach, that your brain would have worked properly, then it would have affected the midah shebalev, it would have affected your heart. There's an interesting thing. He quotes it from the Zohar, and he brings it from Gemara. Your heart is where everything spreads to everywhere, because your heart pumps the blood to everywhere. So if your intellect could affect your heart, so basically it's affecting everything. It's not just your heart, not just your feelings. All of a sudden, your whole body is. Shenimshach, look what he says. Bar machshava, you start thinking right. Dibur, you speak right. Umaisa, and you do the right thing. So it's not just your heart. If your brain would have gone to the heart, it would have affected everything. Because your heart is really what motivates everything. Ach yeshna inyan de Mitzrayim. Turn the page. Shehu Matzah hagoraim. This is the. Now look what in your neck you have three things. Kona. Anyone learn shchita? Kona, veshet, and vridim. Your windpipe, your food pipe, and vridin is the veins. Where he says that he's alright, that's the gimel sari pare. Pare have three ministers: sar hatabachim, sar ha'oifim, and sar ha'mashkim. The butcher, the baker, and the bartender. So look at that. He's alright. Listen to this. So your food pipe, your windpipe, and your blood vessels represents. The food pipe is this baker. The butcher is the meat represents the blood, the veins, and the drink is the windpipe. So he says that these three things is what blocks your intellect to affect your heart. Meaning, you're too involved in eating, drinking, and what's the third thing? And baking bread, meat, and wine. The idea of desires and taivas, especially eating and drinking with a desire. Like you have a geschmack. I love the Sephardic filter fish. The Sephardic salmon. It has such a good spice.
They do make the Sephardic.
I'm not saying you shouldn't love, but not with a desire. The bigger the desire is, your neck becomes clogged, and now your brain cannot affect the heart. That whatever you understand in your mind doesn't go. If your heart doesn't get affected, then machshava dibur ma'aseh. Then when you think and when you speak and you act, you're also not properly, because your heart is not working properly. Then the other three don't work. So that is Mitzrayim. Yitzias Mitzrayim. What does it mean going out of Egypt? Shenimshach hamoida lamida shamagay. Interesting thing. Somehow on the night of Pesach, from your brain goes straight to your heart, not through the neck. It like the Mitzrayim is gone.
On the first night?
On the first night.
Not the rest?
He says it, the night of Pesach. When you eat the matzah on the first night. First and the second in Golos, it's like one. But I'm saying first, he means the first night. What does it mean? When you say to Matzah, he says, not only does it go straight from your brain to your heart, sometimes sometimes the intellect itself goes into your heart itself. Then your character is like your intellect. That's called very fine and elevated character traits. Pali and his three ministers, but the question is, how does that happen? So he says, look what he says in the next line, the end. Sheba Pesach, you eat matzah and 4 cups of wine. What is the difference between matzah and wine in your brain? Which part of your brain is matzah and which part of your brain is wine?
The white and the red.
So he says, moichin the abba is the moichin means brain from intellect of chachma is the matzah. Moichin the ima, the brain of the understanding is the wine. Moichin brain. In other words, when you eat matzah, moach is the intelligence. When you eat matzah and drink wine, two things happen. One is you get new wisdom coming into you, Two is you understand it. Because Chokhmah is like the new potential, drips in new concepts. And then the Bina is understanding it. So eating the matzah is giving you new, is like the Chokhmah, the father, which puts in new ideas. The wine, drinking the wine, gives you the intelligence to understand these new ideas. Because wine has a taste, wine has a understanding, it's geschmack, it has other thing. So by eating matzah and drinking the 4 cups of wine, you're putting a new mochin into your brain, going straight to your heart, without the limitation of the neck, and then it affects your way you think, the way you talk, the way you act, and that's going out of Egypt. So the eating of the matzah and drinking the wine has that effect. That's what he said. Interesting. You like this concept? Mm-hmm. Now he ends it. Yeah. It's interesting, huh? No, isn't that interesting?
But the trick is to get it to stay with you after Pesach. What's the point?
That's the
Instead of saying Chorma Bina Das, the Arizal says it's the Melech. Melech Bina Das. So it's a very strange notion because instead of
official.
So you're like
that's why you
come here. Don't sit up here. Come sit next to David.
Come next to me.
That's why you jump.
I went home.
Come on,
I got on the bus at 4:20.
Very excellent.
That's my point.
Chava, let's just finish this part. Hello?
Okay.
He explains what's the difference. It's called Yedias HaMalhus and Yedias HaMetzius.
The essence and the reality. Abba Shem, let it go. It's good. Let it go, Abba Shem. Abba Shem, because I see that you speak. The essence.
Atik Yomin has spoken.
No. The essence and but it's true though.
I'll tell you the difference. The difference is between Shmiya and Ri'iyah, which is like this. When you understand something, so it's something you understand and you comprehend, but if someone asks you a question and shows you that what you comprehended is not so clear, so the question puts a doubt in your mind. When you see something, when I see this plate, and someone says to me the plate is red, and he explains it to me 100 times, the plate is red, it doesn't take away because I see it. The same thing is in understanding. There's 2 levels of understanding. There's understanding, which we call Shemiah. I comprehend, I understand. Then there's such a high level of understanding as if you see it. Right. That's the Yedias HaMetzius means I know it exists. I understand it exists. Yedias HaMalhus means not only understand that it exists, I know, I see the essence. I see it. Seeing it, you can't knock it off. The Gemara brings an interesting story with Rav. You remember I think we learned it in Shabbos. That Rav said a halacha, and they asked him maybe 10 questions to contradict his statement. He says, you know what, the questions are very good questions, but I'm not taking back the statement I said. So they said, why? He says, I see it. I see this is the truth. You have questions, but I see the mahus. I see the seichel of the Torah, not understanding it. I already see it. So I see this is the reality. You have 100 questions. Okay, the questions isn't understanding it. But the reality is that I see that this is the halacha. I can't retract. And then when they write the halacha and Shulchan Aruch, they write like Rav, that saw it, even though they had 100 questions, but he saw the thing. That's the difference between matzah and the wine.
So the question
matzah means it gives you the ability to see Hashem. Wine gives you the ability to understand. So the first thing you have to put into your mind is the seeing, the matzah, which infuses you with the seeing of the essence. And then, not only you see it, you start understanding. But when you do understand it, it's not the same level as seeing it, but it's a lower level, but you're bringing it down, so then it can come to your heart. And once it comes to your heart, it affects the whole body.
Why can't it be the opposite? Why can't it be like wine is seeing and matzah is...
He says that the matzah, according to Arizal, the matzah is chachma. Chachma means seeing. We always learn Chachma means you see
Like a
it.
child doesn't understand,
Right.
but he's saying what he makes sense. Says the child doesn't
But he sees his
understand.
father.
Actually,
Oh, he can't say Abba, right?
Right,
So
but
it's
he
like
sees
Chachma
it.
Abba.
Chachma.
Like he can't say Abba.
Chachma, yeah, okay, we're finished.
Should be a matzah.
A child can't say Abba until he tastes grain.
The opposite
there's a
of
beautiful explanation.
bragging.
To see the colors on the Ar Sinai, I heard a beautiful explanation. When a father wants to teach a son, or when a master wants to teach a student, the child just have to look at the father, or has to look at the teacher.
Then,
And by looking, he's
see
learning. That's to see the color.
you understand what he's saying? Most of us, when we learn, we try to understand,
Yeah.
which is Bina.
Yeah.
We're not, that's the lower level. That's the one. On the night of Pesach, we get to this, it's called Gablus HaMochin, that by eating the matzah, we all of a sudden not only understand Hashem, whatever minimum we could understand, a little, but we could see it already. It becomes so clear to us that it's not a doubt.
So, in other words, we perceive it in a way that
It's seeing,
it's beyond words.
right, and it's above understanding.
Which
By
is
eating the
beyond
matzah,
words.
right. But the point is that it doesn't have to go through the neck now. So the neck then condenses it, and it won't affect the heart. It goes straight from your mind, right into the heart, and all of a sudden you get inspired, and it affects your action and thought and speech.
I wonder if you
So the Egypt, this Matzah HaGaron, when it says the Mitzrayim is gone.
did he mean to teach you like
Okay, let's make come.
really advanced people on cookout or
Everyone, when you eat matzah, you get this feeling. Ask any Jew that eats matzah.
So how do you make him stay with you also, Rabbi?
That's by eating the rest of the 7 days. Remember we said that you have to eat matzah?
Amen.
Rabbi Yitzchak, you want to say Amri Brocha, Mazanis?
Rabbi Yitzchak, you want to say L'chaim?
You want to say L'chaim?
Like the student who wants to.
She knows how to catch you the door.
No, at the door, you're here, and I don't believe you.